Hey everybody, I just wanted to make this quick video, kind of a stream of consciousness sort of thing. You're going to get my hot takes on somebody who runs a website called IVD Destroyer or Title 4D Destroyer, and they run a YouTube channel called Destroyer IVD or Destroyer 4D. For purposes of this video, this is a public service announcement, and I want to draw people's attention to it because it really deeply concerns me by what is happening on this website and what's happening on this YouTube channel, because I believe that it is harmful for men. I also believe that this is extremely newsworthy, and any information that I use in this video constitutes fair use under state and federal law. With that out of the way, let's get started. So here is the website, iv-d-destroyer.com. Now, according to this, Title 4D child support fraud exposed, right? And there's wall of shame, all this other stuff. And this website holds itself out to be kind of a resource for people who owe child support for their children if they are a non-custodial parent, which, let's be honest, is mostly men. So you go to the resource page. I'm not going to click on it, I already did. It's right here. It's the default redirect page. There are no resources, right? Then if you click services, under the services section here, you can pay this person $10 a month for testing purposes, apparently. Not for services, but for testing purposes. Or you can pay them once for premium content. So apparently, somewhere on this website, there's some premium content. Not quite sure what it is, but there it is. Now, in conjunction with this website, Destroyer STD, as we'll lovingly call this person, uses the latest graphics technology from 1997 to promote their child support scam. And really, that's what this is. It's not an insult. It's not bullying. It's a description. And later on in this video, you'll see it's an accurate description. So this person's videos show that he's providing free consultations and webinars and free paperwork. In other words, he's unlawfully practicing law. This person's not an attorney. And from what I've gathered in reviewing a lot of his videos, he's not a legal expert, but he is an expert grifter. He knows enough language to be dangerous. He knows enough language to be able to fool anybody who knows less than him, which is a fair amount of people. Now, with that said, I mean, he's the one-eyed man in the land of the blind. He's not somebody who's truly an academic, and you can see this from this grift. He's just some scammer. So he's talking about attacking the federal law for wage garnishment. Oh, and you can do a webinar for that. Shut down contempt of court fraud. How to stop Title 4D extortion. Those types of things. Stop paying child support now webinar. Here's another one. A king pays no child support. Like you're going to go into family court and you're going to out-alpha the court, the sheriffs, and the law enforcement agencies. Okay, so it's great. Now, let's take it a step further, and let's dissect some of these videos so you can see exactly the kind of fraud I'm discussing. So here's a first one. Child support. Returning their certified mail means no default judgment, okay? And then he's got something like a Word document he's put together. Oh no, it's a child support enforcement document that supports his argument. Well, let me explain how this works. If you're served with child support, they can serve you by first-class mail, they can serve you by certified mail, or they can have a process server come to your house. Or last known residence, right? If they're not able to serve you, then what they typically do is they get a court order and says, Your Honor, this person's hiding from service. We want to serve them by mail, just first-class mail, and be done with it. They don't have to sign for it. Nobody has to sign for it. It's considered served, and then they go after you. And they get their default judgment. If this guy had ever been to a family court proceeding, he would know this. All right, moving on. Next video. Child support. Wage withholding order terminated with full refund. All right. So we're going to go to the order. And there it is from the state of West Virginia. And there's a refund associated here. And again, it's a termination of child support, right? Now, the refund is a whopping $284.33. Now, here's the kicker. How many times have you ever heard of a father say, yeah, my kid was 10 years old and I paid 10 years of child support. And I paid $284.33. It broke the bank. Really? Okay, what probably happened here, and let's just kind of extrapolate through the bullshit and translate. Here's likely what happened. What happened here is that the kid aged out of the system, right? The kid aged out of the system. Kid's 18, 19 years old, whatever the age is in whatever particular state is there. And there was an overpayment made. So that 284 is a result of the overpayment, and he got a refund. Now, is 284.33 a full refund? No. And there's no evidence of such. Yet this person's acting as though it is. It's not. So that's an issue, because this is one of those scenarios where you believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see. And grifters like this are the reason why. This is a perfect example because there's nothing in this video that demonstrates with any objectivity that the person who got their child support terminated got it terminated as a result of following any of the advice in this video, or they got it terminated as a result of following of any of the illegal legal advice in the webinars this guy's selling between $60 and $100 a pop. So he's holding these webinars for, however many people. He's charging them $50 to $60 to $100 a pop, and you're going to get screwed, and you got to pay for the privilege. Now, so we've dealt with the state of Virginia. Let's move to the next video. Here's one, and this one's really telling as well because it touches on what I just previously said. This is from New Jersey, and it's the Department of Child Support Enforcement Probation Division, right? And it says on the bottom, and I apologize for the little red line there because I've watched the video, it says, request that the court enter an order to relieve the probation division of the monitoring and collection of support payments and close this case for the following reasons. No current support. Now, this is a notice of intent to terminate child support services. Now, this is not an order. It's just a notice of intent, okay? This video doesn't include the order. I've scrolled through the videos. You can see from the red line. There's no order associated with this, number one. Number two, no current child support owing means the kid is aged out of the system or the kid has passed away, unfortunately, right? So, again, they're not using this STD's advice here. They're using the fact that the child either aged out of the system or unfortunately passed away. Let's look at a fourth video. All right, this one is very amusing. STD decides that he's going to show this as an example of a case dismissal and a full refund. All right? Again, smoke and mirrors, 3-card Monty. This is where you have to look at the case from a lens of legal experience and have some reasonable level of critical thinking. The order says this: close this case, dismiss arrears, and terminate the wage garnishment per the payee's request. What's a payee? Well, a payee is a person who receives child support. A payor is the person who pays child support. Okay? This guy didn't use the STD method of getting rid of your child support, right? He talked the mother into requesting the garnishment stop. And then on top of that, let's go on in the order. It says, any and all attempts to contact the payee have failed, and the payee has refused to give us her address and any other contact information. So this mom probably has like a warrant for her arrest. She's a criminal, and she didn't want to give the Department of Child Support her address because if they give it to law enforcement or if law enforcement requests it, because they all share a same data system, they'll drive over to her house, pick her up, and throw the cuffs on her, right? And then it says, refund any money in cash held back to the payor. So with that said, what that means is that while they were probably collecting child support and they were paying this woman, then she got her arrest warrant and she disappeared. She closed her bank account or, overdrafted it closed, right? Something happened in her life. Something drastic happened. They can't find her. And they don't have the ability to pay her because, number one, they don't have an address they can send a check. They don't have any banking information that they can send the information to. And the mother has requested the court to stop the garnishment. And so the dad probably just said, well, and I want a refund because this money can't just sit there. And the court's like, yeah, mom's derelict. She's probably got, like I said, she's probably got an arrest warrant or something like that. But the thing that they didn't do was he didn't walk in there and go, bro, Title 4D is unconstitutional, bro. And I'm a king. I shouldn't have to pay child support. And all this other bullshit. Because that's really what it is. It's bullshit. So now you have 4 videos that I've shown you from this guy's shill channel where basically what he's doing is he's trying to shill people. And he's trying to get them to pay him some money so that he can lie to them by telling them what they want to hear. Now, let me tell you why that is the absolute worst thing to do as a non-custodial father responsible for child support. If you're a non-custodial father and you're responsible for child support, there are 2 elements of the child support. There's the actual order or the obligation, and there's the collection. Many states in the country will throw you in jail if you get behind in your child support. Now, some places actually have criminalized being behind in your child support. So in other words, you can be thrown in jail and have a criminal record for the crime of poverty. Now, and that happens a lot. I did a video on this where a guy was shot in the back by law enforcement after he was criminally convicted of child support and he was just running away from the cops. He wasn't guilty of any other crime. He wasn't a drug dealer. He wasn't a drug addict. He didn't have a history of criminal behavior. He got behind in his child support. And when you get behind in your child support, sometimes your employer will fire you. If they get a garnishment order from the state, sometimes they'll go, oh yeah, I can't have that guy there because he's not responsible, right? And they fire you. But back to the conversation at hand. I mean, that's the subject for another video. Back to the conversation at hand. If you try to use these arguments, and these arguments have been used many times before over the last 25 to 35 years, there's nothing new about them. It's the same bullshit. It's just packaged in a different shit cake. If you try to use these arguments in family court, not only will you get sanctioned or potentially sanctioned for filing a frivolous motion or a frivolous petition to get your child support taken away, but you're going to lose all credibility with the court. So if you're a non-custodial parent, specifically a non-custodial father, and you start making a ruckus using this STD's advice, not only are you probably going to get sanctioned, you're going to get in trouble for not paying your child support and all the drama that goes associated with that, suspended driver's licenses, jail time, and all the rest, but you're also going to lose all your credibility with the family court. And as everybody knows, family court cases are continuing jurisdiction cases. They last until the child is 18, 19 years old. If that child is being abused or neglected in the home, or say 6 months later you find out your child's being abused and neglected in the home after you just got hammered for following this STD's advice, you've lost all credibility. You're going to be considered a vexatious litigator. You're going to be considered the worst of the worst, and you're going to be considered irresponsible, because if you're unwilling to pay your child support, even if it's set too high, the court may consider you unwilling to be responsible for the child. So even if the child is living in a home of abuse in the custodial parent's home, the court might just contact, human services and say, look, we need to place this child in foster care because dad won't financially support the child and mom's abusing the kid. Neither one of these parents is any good. Put them in foster care and give us some more federal dollars. Now, instead of destroying your credibility because you took some idiot's advice online, who, by the way, has no business license, has no business presence, and you don't know anything about this guy, other than he knows a little bit about the law because he was able to do a couple Google searches. So your problem here is this. You get yourself in this situation, your child gets abused, you destroy your credibility, you destroy your case, and you destroy your genetic legacy because now you can't protect your child because you took some idiot's advice when you should have gotten the professional advice to begin with. Because the reality is, just like I said in a previous video, when it comes to certain things in life, there are no shortcuts. And this guy is selling you a pipe dream. And that's my opinion. And I believe that people need to be warned. This guy is not practicing law with a license. It's, the unlawful practice of law. And he's potentially committing a variety of other crimes. And if he's, taking money from people in another state, guess what? It's now wire fraud. And that's a federal offense as well. If he's getting money through the mail and that kind of thing, yeah, the law enforcement arm or the Postal Service, the FBI, there's a lot of other agencies that may be interested in this guy. But I can tell you this right now. You take this man's advice, you go into court with both guns blazing, and you tell him that you're a king and you're not going to pay child support and all this shit is unconstitutional. Don't be surprised if they arrest you and put you on a 72-hour psychiatric hold or call you a conspiracy theorist and completely destroy your credibility in the trade. Take care of yourself, gentlemen. Because as things get tight, grifters like this will continue to show up. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. And remember, trust but verify. Don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. Because if you don't, you're going to get victimized by idiots like this. So with that said, I'm DDJ, and the outing of this particular grifter is your dose of misandry today.